Hi everyone, welcome to Prisa Academy. And today we are going to see about the data binding in Angular. So, so in data binding, we have to go and you have to whatever the value we are storing in the variable, or you can say the property, we will go and we'll bind that to the our template. And whenever the property value will be changes, automatically that will be get updated to the UI. So we have the two ways you can go and you can do the data binding in Angular. One is the one-way data binding, and the other one is the two-way data binding. So if you talk about one-way data binding, so its value will pass from the your component to the your view. So whenever I am passing the component to the view, so that comes under the your one-way data binding. And always in the one-way data binding, if you talk about the interpolation and the property binding, so always the value will be passed from the your .ts file, which is component to the your template that is .html file. But when you come to the event binding, so in the event binding, when you perform something on the UI like on click or button, so that action will be called on the your component .ts file. So that will be like the from template to the component, the action will be going to happen. So if you see the interpolation, so it will go and it will display the data whatever we are storing in the property in the .ts file into the template. And the syntax is double opening and the double opening curly bracket and the double closing curly bracket. Now let's go and see the example of interpolation. So suppose over here in header, I'll go and I will define the property. And over here, if I'll go and define over here, so suppose over here I have defined the text or some title, I have given the name of the property. And in TypeScript file, we have the advantage to go and display the give the data type as well. So I am going to give the data type of this to the string, and I will go and I will assign some value over here. So suppose over here I am assigning like the string value, and that is the header. Or suppose I am writing over here home, save this. Now if I have to go and display this on the UI, so how I can go and I can display, oh, we are getting one error over here, and that is related to the one minute main.ts file router is not including the template of the our app domain. Let me check. So we'll go to the which file it is. So app.ts file. So let me go and see in the app.ts file over here, and that will be in the your app. And already we have imported that one, but we have not used over here. Mm, see whether we got this. Okay, so we got this over here on the before as well. So let me, for time being, let me go and remove this because we have not used the routing concept. So might be it is throwing the error. Oh, so now it is fine. We have removed from the import. So we are seeing that over here I have declared one title as a property. And if you do the mouse over, you can see it is a property of type string. And now I want to go and display this on the our HTML. So if you see, this is the hard-coded value, and this is not going to change at any cost. So suppose over here I have declared over here h2 tag, and then double opening and the double closing curly bracket, and then inside this simply I'll go and I will write the title. And now if I go and see over here, so now you can see it has been replaced with the home. Before it was like the header was, now it has been replaced. Now, if I go and do the changes over here, like suppose I have gone and added like the about us. And once I will go and I will save, automatically that will give and I will update on the our browser. And we are not doing any changes in the .html file. That will be as it is. Only we are whatever the value property value is getting changes, that is getting updated over here. So suppose over here in this way I can go and I can update any value over here. Services, then contact us. Like this I can go and I can update, and automatically this will be get updated on the over here. So you can go and you can do the whatever string property is there. You can go and you can we can go and you can update the number as well. Now over here, if I go and if I have to do the with the help of string of interpolation, I can go and I can do the plus addition over here as well, and this will be get updated over here as a 4. Now I can go and I can perform other operation as well. I can go and I can call the method over here, like suppose get name. I have written this method. And whenever you are trying to call any method, that need to be present inside the header.ts. Otherwise, it will go and it will throw the error. So I need to go and I need to create that method over here. And suppose if I go and I will call the alert hello world save, and we need to go and we need to save this HTML as well. Then only that will go and that will. And you can see whenever this file is getting called, automatically this is getting called. So few other examples we can go and you can use the interpolation over here. Now we'll go and we'll see the real-time example of the interpolation where we are getting the data in bulk and how we can go and we can render that data. Before we used to do with the help of the ng4 as well, star ng4, but and now we have to go and have to do with the at the rate 4. So we'll go and we'll see that in the later. What we cannot go and do over here in the string interpolations, like if I try to go and do the assignment over here, so that will go and that will throw the error. Like suppose over here, I am displaying over here the marks and I'm trying to assign some value to this one. So if I go and do like this, so it will go and it will throw the error over here. You can see binding cannot contain assignment at this one. So you cannot go and directly assign the values over here into this. You can go and you can do the comparisons expression. You can go and you can write, but assigning of value is not allowed inside the interpolation. So how we can go and you can achieve? So you can go and you can declare this property on the .ts file over here. In the .ts file, I can go and I can declare over here marks. And if I want to go and give the data type, so as we know in TypeScript, it is the number. And then I can go and I can assign some value to this. Save. I need to go to the HTML. And now we don't have to go and write over here. Simply I can go and I can call the, and it will be get rendered. And, and you can see, I'm able to see this over. So these are the few examples of interpolation. We'll go and we'll see many examples in our coming classes about the interpolation. Now, if you go to the documentation, so over here, the second one-way data binding is the our property bind. So let's go and see the example of this one. So directly it will go and it will bind to the element over here. So, and the syntax is this square bracket. So suppose over here, I have created button, and on button, I have value like submit, And I can go and I can do like this as well. Or directly I can go and I can write the text over here. Now if you go and see, one minute, we need to go and we need to bind this one, because every time this alert will be get fired. So I have commented this code, and let me directly, okay, text. Let me directly go and do over here, submit. So I am able to see the button over here. Now my requirement is that I need to go and disable this one. So we have the attribute of disable over here. But if you see, it has disabled it permanent. If I want to go and enable this, so how I can go and I can enable based on the our condition. So instead of directly writing this disable attribute, you can see this is the one of the your Boolean attribute. Now I can go and I can write over here. I can go and I can make this into the square bracket, and then I can go and I can declare some property. And over here, suppose I have written one property as a is active, and then Boolean, and then I have assigned this as a false. Save this, and I will go and I will use this property over here. So now you can see whenever the property value will be false, this button will be get enabled. And whenever the value of this become true, so you can see it is getting disabled. Now the second example we can go and you can see as an image. And over here we have the SRC, and we go and we give the path of this one. And then we have the alt, and then whatever like you want to go and suppose image is not able to find. So you can go and you can display the message. Now if I'm trying to get some image over here, so let me go and get the image. So let me go and get the image online. Suppose I'm going to get this and copy the image link. Okay, okay. Now let me go and save this. Mm, I have already saved, and it is, and after this button on should go and should display. Okay. It's taken time to display over here. Now we are able to see this image over here. But currently, if you see, we have given this path over here directly to the SRC. So if suppose tomorrow if I have some API, and in API we have the array of object, and every object will go and will have the value. So how we can go and we can remove this URL. So this also we can go and we can achieve with the property binding. So we have to go and you have to make this into the square bracket, and then you need to go and you need to cut this and go to the here. Suppose over here I am declaring one image URL, and suppose I am typing over here string bind, and now I will save this, and now this image URL, if I go and if I use over here, and you can see still I am able to get the value. So now I can go and I can directly bind this with the value because now it will go and it will bind on the property. So I will show you when you go and render the list of value. So how we can go and you can change this image as well, image value while rendering the value. So these are the two examples of our property binding. If you see in our upcoming classes, we are going to talk about the attribute directives. Inside that, we have the ng style, ng class. So that is also the one of the example of our this property binding. Now we'll go and we'll see about the our event binding. And in event binding, we have the syntax of this parenthesis. And one more point, like while working with the one-way data binding, we don't require to have any of the libraries we require to include. Directly, you can go and you can start working over here. So let me go and display the over here. So suppose in this only, if I go and have to work on the property event binding, so we have this parenthesis and any of the event like click. So in JavaScript, if you see on click, on mouse over, so over here there will be no on prefix will be there. Only direct we have the event name and then suppose get name I have got. Okay, because already we have declared the get name. If you see over here, get name is there. Now whenever I will go and hit the button, so that method will be get called and it is enabled. So disable. So let me go and enable that one. So make this value as a false. And now you can see it is getting updated. Now once I'll go and click on this, so now you can see the method is getting called over here and the alert, it has displayed the our value. So these are the some of the examples of our one-way data binding. So in one-way data binding, we have the interpolation, property binding, and the event binding. Now we have the two-way data binding. So in two-way data binding, you can say it is a combination of the property or the event binding because the syntax, if you see over here, the first will be the square bracket inside that parenthesis, and then we have the ng mod. But I told you to work with the two-way data binding, we have to go and we have to import the forms module from which library you have to go and you have to import. So at the rate angular forward slash forms. So let me go and import first that one. So on the top, we'll go and we'll import that. So over here, I will go and I will import. If you don't import, so you are going to get the error over here. Whenever you go and use that, so you'll go and you'll get the error. Now already we have the properties are there. Or let me go and give over here one name property and it is of type string and then we have suppose John Smith. Save this. Now if I will go and I will have to bind this on our HTML. So see how I can go and I can bind. So let me go and put into the some other tag. So it will be directly inside this one. Save. And again, I will go and I will put inside the div. So first I will go and I will take the input and type is equal to text. And then I will go and I will write the ng model and the property which you have declared over here is the name. Okay, and it is the self-evaluate type. Now, the next thing I have to go and I have to declare is the whatever the property I have declared, I want to go and I want to render over here. So you'll understand whatever the in the TS it will getting the value, it will be get reflected over here, and whatever we are trying to change from the our browser, it will also get affected. So let's first change that all we have saved all the files. So if something is not reflecting, that means you have not saved the file. So we need to go and you need to save the files over here. And so now we have the header, and in header we have the div, and in the div we have. So let me check why it is not reflecting. Some error we are getting over here. Okay, okay. Now we have done this. So what we used to have before is the we have to go and you have to we don't require because in the ng module or already it is been updated in the your module, but over here we have to go and have to otherwise it will go and it will you can see over here it was not able to render over here and it was throwing the error. You can see cannot bind ng model since it is a non-property of input. So whenever you are trying without importing this forms module, so you'll go and you'll get this error one. Now you can see we are able to bind this over here. Both places we have the things. Now this is coming from the our .ts file. Now if anything I am going to change in the template file, so you can see it is getting updated in the your ts file as well. If I go and delete all this, so you can see all it has changes and whatever now if I am typing over here, so it is getting updated in the your ts file as well. So this was about the data binding in Angular, and we have seen the examples related to the both one-way data binding and the two-way data binding. So in two-way data binding, your data will flow from component to view and view to component, vice versa. The value is going to flow. So this was for the today. Thank you. We'll connect next class.